Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, QA Solutions. So this would be my first video. So I would like to share some of my knowledge that I have learned recently about HTML. I believe it would be really handy for anybody who wants to develop a new web page. Also down to the line in future, if you have a desire to become a web developer, that would be a great opportunity for everybody. So to uh, build some knowledge on HTML. Then later on, we're gonna move on some to share some more knowledge on CSS. Then some of the web programming languages. So I would prefer over here is JavaScript. So let's list it out the information that we're gonna learn about. So topics that we're gonna cover. The first thing first, we're gonna learn basic HTML. Then we're gonna learn basic CSS. And to introduce some dynamic logic into the website, we're gonna learn basic JavaScript. So before that, some of the tools you would need, if you are comfortable with simple text edit or a text file, that's still okay. But I would recommend to use some of the useful text editor. So for this tutorial, I'm using VS Code. This is also very useful and handy. It's free. You can easily download it and you can use as an editor. And also in future, this VS Code is really helpful whenever you are moving any programming tutorial. So for JavaScript, also in future, we're gonna use VS Code. So I created a folder. It's called QA Solutions. Over here, I have an images folder, and I just created this file. It's called topics. Then I'm gonna create another file. So that file I'm gonna name it webpage.html. So as you see, whenever you're creating a file, make sure you have a extension added to it. So whenever you working out with HTML, the extension would be .html. All right, so first thing first, we need to know a few things. So the very important part is to learn about the HTML doc type. So what is doc type? So whenever you work with HTML, HTML has different versions. So one of our main principle that you define the HTML versions. So the latest HTML version is HTML5. So we're gonna define first the HTML5. So as you see, the editor already have IntelliGence comes with, but since we are learning, we're not gonna rely on IntelliGence. We're gonna learn everything from scratch so that we have clear concept which and every individual tag and text is really meaningful. So I'm gonna type the doc type as the IntelliGence showing, and the HTML5 doc type is very simple, which is just HTML. All right, so we are done defining the first which HTML version we are using, because every HTML version comes with new features and comes with some new tag. So why do we need the HTML? Basically, we need HTML to develop a website, and HTML stands for hypertext markup language. So HTML is nothing but a combination of tags. That tags actually help you however you want to design a web page. So the first thing first, HTML, we're going to start with HTML tag. So you have an open, so whenever you have a tag created, so make sure you have a open section and close section. So open section is HTML and the close section is with the backslash HTML. So I'm just making it little bit bigger, so everything looks good. All right, so what we have first, whenever we have a web page built, so what do you have? We have a title in the web page. So any web page you see, that web page comes with the title. So let's create a title. So basically the section where the title located in a web page is called head. So another tag we're gonna learn today is called head. So HEAD. So as I told you, whenever you have a head tag, make sure you have an open section and close section. So we have open section and close section. So inside head, we're gonna write the title of the web page. So it's called the title tag. Same logic, open and close, and the title. So let's say, since we're learning HTML, so HTML and CSS learning tutorial. So let's test it out. So far what you have developed, let's see how does it look in a browser. So I'm saving this page. So as you see, webpage.html. So I'm gonna open my directory. So this directory has these pages. This file has already been created. So let's open it. All right. So as you see, HTML and CSS learning tutorial, the title of this page that we are developing. All right then. So let's go back. So what is next? So the next we're gonna learn is in a web page. So whenever you have a web page, the web page has few sections. So first is head, then is the next section is body. So let's create a section called body. Same logic. So the body tag, it has open and close. So inside the body, all the information is gonna be located. All right, so first let's create a section called header. So in a body, I would like to print a message in a bigger font. So header is basically in a font. So there is header 1, header 2, header 3, header 4, header 5, header 6. So it's the text is gonna display in different size of the font. So if I want to display in the bigger font, so I'm gonna define this header 1, so which is called H1. Then I can type my text, basic HTML tutorial. All right then. So let's say save it and test it out. So refresh the page. As you see, here we go. So basic HTML tutorial. So it's showing in a bigger font. So we set the font in a header one, so that's how it shows. All right, so let's learn for a few more tag, which is really handy to build a website. All right, so the next thing we can learn is paragraph. So paragraph tag is defined with P. So just type P. That's it. So in this, I can write some text in this paragraph. So I'm learning basic HTML for future JavaScript course. Then this is the first part. This is the first part of the course. So as you see, we have a paragraph. So let's see, how does it look like? Save it and view in the page. As you see, I'm learning basic HTML for future JavaScript course. This is the first part of the course. So how about we give a line break? So let's say this is the first part of the course. I want to see in the different line. Let's try it out. So another new syntax we're going to learn, which is break line, so called BR. So the BR basically, it's not the same way. It's not the same way we define the tag earlier, like header one paragraph. So BR, it's self-closing tag itself. So whenever you define this tag, you gotta self-close by itself. This is how it's look like. So let's save it and take a look. Refresh the page. Okay. Something is missing? So I believe it would be this is the first part. Okay. So what next? So the next is we can learn is to write some list. So as you know, bullet point list. So in HTML, there is a tag called UL, which is known as unordered list. So let's type UL. All right, so open and close tag. So when you want to define any list, so it call li. So the first, let's say item 1, then item 2. So this is a bullet point list, which is the tag we define is UL, which stands for unordered list, and the list item, that what are the item you want to list it out. So let's check it out. Here we go. So it's a bullet point list. So if you want to define in order, is an order list. So UL is unordered list. We can also define order list, which is pretty simple. The tag name is OL. So same thing, li list item. Let's define item 3, then list item 4. Save it, so it's gonna be listed order, like the number is gonna display beside the item. So let's check it out. All right, there we go. So the next thing we're gonna learn is image. So it's very important in a web page that you have an image. A lot of things you want to display graphical way, because to make a beautiful web page, basically we always try to include images that represents some of the graphical representation on a web page. So we can define that as well. So in order to add an image in a web page, the tag we can use called image tag. So let's add that img. So the image tag basically is another important thing. Another important is the nature of the image tag is it's self-closing tag. So you don't have to have an open tag and a close tag. So it is this, the same thing we learned earlier, which is the breakline tag. So in the image tag, basically the property you need to have the source. The source is like the location of the images. So as you remember, we have a folder called images inside our folder. The folder we are saving our webpage.html. So I created a folder called images. It's easier for me to go to that folder, images, and the name of my image, which is nature.jpg. JPEG. All right, so this should be under double quote, the value of the location. All right, so another important property of image tag is width property. So width. Width. So in the width property, you can basically define the width of the images. You can have a height property, height of the images. Then another property of the image tag is called alt. So basically you give a name of the image. Is a very important principle that whenever you adding any images, make sure you have a alt property inside the image tag. So what you can give it a name, I name it nature. All right, save it and let's test it out. There we go. So looking good so far. The images we have added is displaying. So the next thing we're gonna learn is a hypertext. Whenever you want to add a link in your page that will redirect you a different page, you can also do that. So let's do that before the image. So adding a link into a web page, we use a tag. So a tag is just a regular normal tag, so which has a open and close section. So in the a tag, basically you need to have a property called href. So in the href, basically you're gonna type which website you want to navigate to by clicking on the link. So let's say I want to add youtube.com. Now you can give a name of this link. So let's type go to YouTube. Right. So let's save it and see the output in the browser. Okay, you see go to YouTube. But this link and image is in the same line. So what can I do? We can break line so that the image can go to the next line. So let's add that. So right after the a tag, I can add br. So and let's add one more break line. So let's see the output. All right, cool. So the line has been broken, so its next information is being shows. All right, so another things we can do here. So let's say after all the text, I can create a separator in this web page. So the tag is called HR. So we can put a HR is like horizontal line. HR again is a self-closing tag. So let's see the output. As you see, it created a horizontal line over here just to separate out the text we have and the link and the images. The next thing we're going to learn is division. So basically, whenever you build a web page, so your web page has a header section, is a body and a footer section. So it's always follow some structure way so that whenever you want to modify something, you know where to tackle. So everything is going to be under body. So inside the body, we're going to categorize a few sections. So those sections basically you group them together in a div tag. So div stands for division. So let's define that. So inside the body, I want to define div. So same logic, open and close tag. So inside the div, so I want to add this information, header and paragraph, the first section. Or yes, let's add this just header. Okay. Then this is the header section. Then the next is the body. So the next in the body, so here, the next section we can add this paragraph and the unordered list and ordered list information. So discard this information alongside with the paragraph. Okay. Then another section, we have a image section and the link section. Let's create another division. Inside that, let's place those information. And last but not least, we can add a footer. So the footer, another div section. So another learning information that if you want to add a copyright, there is a simple way of adding a copyright into the footer. So let's type copyright and $copy, then the information. So let's type 2020 QA tech solutions. All right. So let's save our work and see how does it look. So you're not going to see anything in the web page, but basically you are organizing your work. So whenever you are adding any content to your web page, you know where to add that particular information because you already categorize based on different division. So as you see, we have we categorize our header in one division, then the text information that we have another division, then we have image and link in another division, and the final part is the copyright information. So basically this is really helpful to build your basic knowledge about HTML. So now another key principle of the HTML is, so if you want to give a unique name for each division, you can do that. So let's say you want to give an ID. So ID is a property of a division. So each ID has to be unique. So the first, we can say here page header. We can define this name information page header. The next, we can define this is another ID. So this ID we can define text section. You can name anything you want to. Basically, there is no rule about it, but make sure your ID has to be unique. Then we have a ID. You can define here link and image, link, image, and the final part is footer. So we can define ID, skull, footer, page. We can type page footer just to be consistent. So basically you can name anything you want to. There is no rule. So the only rule you got to keep in mind that it has to be unique. So we're going to learn actually the uses of this property of div in future whenever we will go through on CSS. So the uses of CSS, I'm just giving a preview about the next topic that I'm gonna cover in another video, which is CSS. So in a web page, if you want to color if you want to provide any style on a page, then you need to use CSS. Like example, you want to make a particular text in a different color, you're gonna use the CSS. You're gonna provide any particular style. You're gonna use the CSS. So let's see how the final output in our web page. So let's save it, refresh it. All right, that's pretty much. You're not gonna see anything, but in future, basically, you have more control. The div you define, and any developer is working or any other of your team member is working on developing a web page, they know what to add the particular contents. That's pretty much. So if you like my video, please like it, give a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel so that whenever we're gonna cover another interesting topic, you gonna get notification. And I hope you really enjoy this video and practice yourself. Just play around with it, and you're gonna feel comfortable. All right, then, have a nice one. Bye.